Jasmine, Sambac, Mogra, Arabian Jasmine, or Sambac Jasmine. You may call this plant by any of those names, but the fact remains this beautiful plant can easily numb your olfactory senses with an overflow of such an intense fragrance that each time you're around this plant, it would simply be sensational. I finally got my hands on a few cuttings and I decided to document every step just for you, so that you too can raise your own fragrance factory and know that your garden space won't be the same again in terms of how it makes you feel every time you step into it. Hey plant lover, how you doing? Making sure that a few steps are done right in any process is not enough. Every process needs precision at every step, and doing the whole thing the right way is the only sustainable way to raise plants so that they last their natural lifespan. These videos mean nothing if you skip parts and decide to pick and choose the steps according to your own liking. So if you're here, spare a few minutes and get the whole process locked in your head and do it in a way that your plants would thank you for. Please make sure you're subscribed and hit that like button and comment if you got any questions, feedback, or suggestions. Let us begin right from the start. We'll discuss 18 steps here. 1. The most important thing when we propagate a plant from cuttings, in this case Arabian Jasmine, is to zero in on a parent plant that is healthy. By healthy, I mean a plant that has been growing as a native for at least 3-4 years in the area you wish that newly propagated plant to thrive. The parent plant should have had confirmed blooms and is devoid of any diseases. Now, once all this is settled, get your cuttings from somewhere in the middle of the parent plant, not too high or too low. 2. These cuttings should be put in water as soon as possible until you're able to start making them. You can hold these cuttings in a tap water-filled glass container for not more than 8 hours. 3. Get 2-3 nodes naked and remove the leaves and all the branches from that area. Get the all-important cinnamon powder in water and let the cuttings soak in this solution so that they get the much-needed fungicide treatment and rooting assistance for their future well-being. 4. When it comes to Arabian Jasmine, Mogra, you don't need to scar the cuttings or remove all the leaves. Now just get some fresh tap water and transfer the cuttings into it for a week and place the apparatus on a windowsill to let some filtered sunlight do its thing and maintain temperatures between 23 degrees and 35 degrees Celsius all this while. 5. The cuttings will have a few telltale signs. 1. White bumps at the base of the cuttings that are called callous. 2. New leaves and branches will grow and old leaves won't fall or turn brown. So if you observe these in your cuttings as well, you have won half the battle. 6. Now we are at a point, one wrong step and our cuttings would rot or won't make it into a new plant. We got to be careful. As soon as you see the signs we discussed in the last point, time to get them in the soil. Of course, you can let them root in water. However, that will affect the success rate. So if you want near perfect results, transfer them into a small pot that has 100% garden soil. If you want, you can add 10-20% sand, river sand, even better. Small pot, because it would be quite easy to shift it from shade to sun and so on. Seven, water thoroughly and immediately. Continue to water once every 5 days and the pots stay in a shaded spot for a month. 8. 1 month and the cuttings look all set to drop some roots. One of the cuttings is faster than the other as far as the growth is concerned. However, I'm pretty certain the root structure would be almost the same size for both of these. 9. Once again, we are at that juncture where I reveal the roots and at the same time urge you never to attempt this at home. Why? Because the newly propagated plants are delicate and prone to transplant shock, among other things. For you, it should be enough to see that leaves and branches are growing and you can let the plant be in the existing setup for another 2 months. before doing what I'll do right now. That is to restart them in a bigger and settled pot. Ten. Another thing you should always observe whenever you get a plant transferred from one pot to another. Have a look-see at the roots. Roots with a clean bill of health would be radiant white and not pale, brown, or yellow or black. If you see white, well done. And if you see any other color, you got some work to do, and do it fast. 11. The second cutting, which showed slower growth, has an almost similar root structure to the first one. Perfect. Great result, and I'm so happy with the addition of these two new plants. If I stretch some parts of the videos, know this: I loved the shots and kept them in the final version, thinking that you would also love them. If you don't, let me know in the comments, and if you did, please say so again in the comments. "13. I've got the spot. It already has a mix of 60% garden soil and 40% sand. You can use river sand, as I said before. And again, let the pot be in a shaded spot for a week and then transfer it to a sunny spot. To minimize the transplant shock, among other things, use the same soil the plants were in around the roots. Remove most of the air pockets by pressing the soil, and then of course thorough watering would help us in pushing the remaining air out. 14. A couple of things. Whenever you are changing any plant's soil, pot, or conditions, the best practice includes making sure the moisture content is optimum. The plant gets minimum sun and water once every 3-4 days. For example, in a normal situation, you would water once every 7 days. And try not to disturb the plant further at all for a good 3-4 months. No fertilizer, nothing at all. Just water and sun. That's that. So here, to try and extend the moist periods for the plant, I'm placing random stones and covering the surface of the soil. 16. If you can spray some water on the leaves once every 2 days in the evenings, it would be great for the plant, though not necessary but helpful for sure. 17. 3 hours into the new pot and no signs of wilting or dying or failure or the plants not liking their new home. So we can call it some good work on our part. Let's see how it goes during the next 12 hours. 18. Next 12 hours are in a time lapse. All's good. The leaves are panned out. The colors look stark. No folding of the edges. Beautiful. Now we see how are the plants after 2 days, and then we can leave them be and yes, wind up the video as well. First 2 days whenever you transplant are critical. If your plant survives those first 2 days, you're well on course and the plant would survive and it's okay in its new environment. So here we are. The plants are all settled in their new home. I'm relaxed. You can relax too. Follow these steps and there won't be much that can go wrong with your newly propagated plants. In this case, Arabian Jasmine. I wish you luck and energy. Thank you so much for your time, and your likes and comments certainly will make my day. So don't hold yourself back. Like, share and subscribe. As always, I'll keep working on some interesting videos and bring them to you. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, grow more and know more. Cheers. Goodbye.